Ethan Carter stepped into the boutique like a storm wrapped in silk. Tall, composed, with the kind of presence that didn't require raised voices or sudden gestures to silence a room. His eyes, sharp and calculating, swept the store once, just once, and the air itself seemed to stiffen under his gaze. Brenda's victorious smirk faltered. "Good afternoon," Ethan said, his voice cool, clipped, unmistakably authoritative. He wasn't yelling, but every person in the store could hear him clearly. "I believe my daughter called me about an incident." Sophia didn't rush toward him. She didn't need to. She stood her ground. Emerald gown, catching the light like defiance, turned to silk. Ethan's eyes met hers for a brief second. Father and daughter in perfect understanding, and then turned to the manager. "Would someone care," he continued, addressing Olivia now, "to explain why my daughter, who came here intending to shop, was humiliated, searched, and accused like a criminal?" Olivia stammered, words scrambling on her tongue like frightened birds. I, I didn't mean it was just that Mrs. Whitmore. Ah." Ethan turned, finally acknowledging Brenda. "Mrs. Whitmore." His tone made her name sound like an infection. Brenda straightened her spine, lifting her chin. "I was only protecting the store's standards," she said, not quite able to meet his eyes. She was acting suspicious. "You can't blame me for being cautious." "I can," Ethan said sharply. "And I do." The room went still. Ethan took a slow step forward, closing the distance with the unhurried grace of a man used to commanding boardrooms and billion-dollar negotiations. "You made assumptions. You profiled my daughter. You accused her, searched her, insulted her, and all without an ounce of proof. That's not caution. That's prejudice." Brenda's face flushed an angry red. "I have every right to—" "You have the right," he interrupted, "to be silent. I suggest you exercise it before you say something else that becomes legally actionable." He turned to Olivia, who looked as if she wished the marble floor would open and swallow her whole. "Miss Summers," he said, his tone still measured, but now laced with ice. "Let me be clear. This boutique has humiliated a minor, falsely accused her in front of witnesses, and violated her dignity based on nothing but one woman's biased assumptions. That's not just unethical. It's illegal." I didn't know what to do," Olivia whispered, tears beginning to prick her eyes. "You do now," Ethan replied. "And if you care for your job or this store's reputation, you'll issue a written apology immediately, along with a public one. Today." He turned once more to Brenda, whose jaw was clenched tightly, her composure cracking at the seams. "As for you," he said, "I'd advise you to leave. Now, before I decide to pursue this further. Because make no mistake, your name, your attitude, and your behavior have been noted." Brenda's mouth opened as if to argue, but no words came. Not with every customer in the boutique glaring at her. Not with Ethan Carter standing like a judge before her. She turned sharply on her heel and stalked toward the door, heels clacking violently, the sound of her exit more satisfying than any bell. Sophia let out the breath she hadn't realized she'd been holding. Ethan turned back to her, and for the first time, a softness returned to his eyes. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. Sophia nodded. "I am now." He smiled just barely. "Good. Now go pick the dress you love. And take your time. You belong here." The boutique remained hushed, but it was a different kind of silence now. The kind laced with admiration. Olivia scrambled from behind the counter, apologizing breathlessly, offering Sophia anything she wanted: discounts, tailoring, champagne. But Sophia didn't need any of it. She returned to the rack, plucked the emerald gown from where she had hung it with quiet dignity, and turned back to the dressing room. She didn't need validation. She didn't need apologies. She had already won. Each step he took across the gleaming marble tiles echoed like a metronome, steady, deliberate, and ominously precise. It was the kind of sound that announced power, a silent warning to anyone who might dare stand in his way. And when the boutique doors swung open, the world inside shifted. Olivia's breath caught. Her eyes widened in disbelief, hands clenching at her sides. Soft whispers fluttered through the store like a startled flock of birds. "That's Ethan Carter," someone hissed. The Ethan Carter. Even Brenda's smug expression faltered. Confusion danced across her features as she watched him approach. She leaned toward Olivia, her voice taut with unease. "Who is that?" Olivia couldn't answer. She could barely breathe. Ethan crossed the threshold. His bodyguard held the door with military precision. The boutique's dainty door chime rang out, absurdly quaint, a child's bell trying to chime over a coming storm. His sharp gaze swept across the boutique. Frozen customers, uneasy staff, the silent figure of Sophia standing proud at the center. Without hesitation, he walked straight to her. Each step struck the marble with purpose. When he reached her, his expression softened just slightly. Their eyes met. "I'm here now." Then he turned to face the room, and the air seemed to still. "What's going on here?" His voice was low, calm, but it sliced through the silence like a blade. Brenda lunged into action, fake sweetness dripping from her every word. "Oh, thank goodness you're here," she gushed. "This girl's been acting suspicious. Nearly caught her red-handed. I just wanted to protect the store's reputation." Ethan didn't even blink. His expression didn't change, but his eyes, cold and unreadable, made Brenda falter. He looked to Olivia. "Is this true?" Olivia swallowed. Her cheeks flushed. Mrs. Whitmore raised concerns. She stammered. "But we checked Miss Carter's bag. There was nothing." A flicker of tension tightened Ethan's jaw. Brenda pushed again, louder now, desperate. "That doesn't mean she wasn't planning something," she cried. "People like her know how to hide things. I was only protecting the store." The words struck the room like poison. "People like her," Ethan repeated, voice soft but deadly. The boutique shrank around them. Customers stiffened. One dropped a scarf. Another clutched her handbag tighter. Brenda realized too late. She had said too much. "I didn't mean it like that. This store is for respectable clients. And she doesn't exactly fit the profile." A hush fell. Ethan turned fully to her. Every word that followed was cold, deliberate. "This girl you're accusing is my daughter." The room gasped as if a bomb had gone off. Brenda stumbled backward, pale and speechless. Sophia didn't have to speak. The truth had shattered every lie, every bias, every smug assumption. But Ethan wasn't done. His eyes locked on Brenda, and the storm within him began to surface. The boutique braced for impact. Scene 2. The reckoning begins. The silence following Ethan's revelation was thick and suffocating, like mist clinging to skin. Brenda looked around, lost, her voice a whisper. I didn't know. She never said she was your daughter." Ethan didn't flinch. "She shouldn't have to," he said, his voice a scalpel. "Every person who walks through these doors deserves respect, whether she's my daughter, someone else's, or a stranger. Respect is not conditional, Mrs. Whitmore." Brenda tried again, flailing. "I was just trying to protect the store's reputation." But no one believed her. Customers who had once stood in silence now looked on with open disgust. Head shook, eyes narrowed. She was alone. Ethan took a step closer. His voice dropped to a terrifying whisper. Protecting the store's reputation by humiliating an innocent girl? By letting your prejudice speak louder than the truth. Brenda's face flushed crimson. Her hands trembled. Her jewelry clinked in a pathetic, meaningless melody. She looked around again, for help, for sympathy, but found only judgment. Then Ethan turned to Olivia. "And you," he said. "You stood by. You listened. You said nothing." Olivia could barely speak. "I was afraid," she whispered. Ethan's voice was sharper than ever. "Fear is not an excuse. You failed to ask questions. You chose silence over fairness. That is not how you lead. That is not how you serve." The boutique had never felt smaller. Brenda tried one last time. "I just thought I was doing the right thing." "You thought wrong," Ethan replied. And with that, he delivered the final blow. "You are hereby banned from this store." His words rang like a sentence. "And from every other boutique I own. You are no longer welcome in any establishment that bears my name." Brenda gasped, stunned. She turned and staggered toward the exit. No longer a queen, but a shadow. The soft chime of the door rang out again, but this time it sounded like mockery, like judgment, like finality. Scene 3. What remains? The boutique remained silent long after she disappeared. Ethan turned to the room. Every eye followed him. Every breath was held. He looked to Olivia again, his voice now quieter, but no less firm. "It's not about who she is," he said. "It's about what you allowed to happen. You listened to accusations without evidence. You chose bias over truth. And you embarrassed a girl who did nothing wrong." Olivia's head dropped in shame. The staff stood frozen. Then Ethan turned to Sophia. His voice softened. "Are you all right?" Sophia, calm and composed through it all, finally exhaled. "I'm okay, Dad." A hint of pride lit Ethan's eyes. "I'm proud of you. You didn't break. You held your ground. You kept your dignity." Sophia smiled faintly. "You always said dignity isn't something they can take. You either give it away or you don't." He nodded. Then Ethan faced the room one last time. "Let this be a reminder," he said, loud and clear, "that respect is not earned by appearance or status or assumption. It is owed to everyone." A few customers nodded. One woman whispered, "Amen." And with that, Ethan placed a hand on Sophia's shoulder, and together they walked away, father and daughter, united by truth, not just blood. As they disappeared behind the velvet curtain, the boutique remained changed, not in design, not in price tags, but in spirit. And outside, as the golden sun dipped lower in the sky, its light touched the glass window display with a quiet grace, as if to say, "True beauty lies not in what you wear, but in how you stand when the world tries to knock you down." Closing scene. Fade out. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Start your day with stories that matter and lessons that last.